So in the previous video, we saw how we can replace a file that is being downloaded by a target computer with another file. And we replace an exe with a backdoor. So when the person ran that exe, we gained full access to their computer. Of course, we had to do this while we were the man in the middle. The problem is what we actually did, we replaced the file that was being downloaded. So when the person ran the file that worked did not produce the result that the user was expecting. For example, let's say the user was downloading 7-zip. When they double-clicked it, our backdoor ran, but 7-zip didn't run. So the user might suspect that something went wrong. Well, you can manually go ahead before the user downloads anything, try to backdoor 7-zip and replace it with 7-zip, but you never know what the target person is going to download anyway. So what we're going to use today is a proxy called the backdoor factory proxy. What this proxy will do is, on the fly, as the person decides to download a file, whether the file is an exe or a zip, it's going to backdoor this file. So it's going to use the same file that it's being downloaded and add our backdoor to it. So when the person runs it, it's going to look like as if they are running their actual file, and their actual file will work. It's not going to be corrupt, and our backdoor is going to run at the same time. This will work against Windows and OS X machines. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go on your configuration file for the backdoor factory and modify and add your IP address in there. So let me go there and show you. So we're going to put the IP address where we want to get the shell. In previous videos, we were actually sending the shell to a Kali Linux machine. Today, we're going to get the shell here on our NetHunter machine. Just because we're not connecting it via USB, it's going to be a wireless attack. And I'll show you how to do it. It's exactly the same. We're going to use Metasploit and a multi-handler to listen on a port. So we're going to be running the exact same commands that we ran on Linux in order to listen for a port. Now, before you do that, go to the configuration file. So I'll show you where it is. I already have it open here. So I have a root explorer here. I downloaded it from the Play Store. It's free and simple, and it works. So data, local, Kali, etc, backdoor proxy, and then click on the configuration file. Now I'm not going to change anything in this file. The only thing that I'm going to change is my current IP address. Because this proxy backdoors any downloaded zip or exe or macOS executables, what you want to do, if you start a multi-handler on only one port, you're only going to receive one type of shells. So if you will not be able to receive shells for different operating systems. So what this does, it actually comes in with a Metasploit script that runs a number of handler instances simultaneously so that you can listen on different ports for different operating systems. So you can see here, if you scroll down, you'll see that it's going to ask you to put your IP address for Linux payloads, for the Windows payloads. Now, I've fixed it for the Windows payloads, and I put my IP address, which is 192.168.117. This is my IP address of this NetHunter device. And as you can see here, I have that done here for this device. And also note the ports. And you can see that it's asking you for Macintosh as well. You can also modify the type of payload that's going to be executed or that's going to be used for each of these operating systems. So in order to listen to the ports, you can run the script that comes in with backdoor factory using this command. So you're going to do msf console r, then use the script path, as you can see here. Now today I'm not going to use this script because it runs a number of instances and it's going to put a lot of load on my NetHunter device. So I'm actually only going to use a manual multi-handler like we did it before, and I'm only going to listen for the Windows connections because I'm going to be targeting a Windows device. So I'm only going to be listening for the Windows connections for the x86, which is this one, on port 8443. So I actually don't need this file right now, but I'm just showing you if you want to use the script, you would put your IPs in there and then you run the script using this command. So for me, I'm just going to do it manually. I'll do it next. But before I do that, I'm gonna start my backdoor factory proxy. And after I do that, we're gonna do the same what we did with the SSL strip. We're gonna use IP tables to redirect any packet coming on port 80. We're gonna redirect it to 8080. We're gonna do this because backdoor factory runs on port 8080. You can change that from the same configuration here that we were looking at just a second ago. But I'm leaving it at 8080, so we're gonna redirect any packet coming at 80 to 8080 so that backdoor factory can analyze it. If it finds that it is an executable, it will backdoor it for us, and then we can hack the target computer. So this is what I'm gonna do next. Let's go on my Kali machine. I'm gonna go on my terminals, and I'm gonna run BDF proxy, just as simple as that. Now give it 2 seconds to load, and that's it. Backdoor factory is working. Now the next thing we want to do, as I said, is run IP tables in order to redirect any packet coming on port 80 to 8080 where backdoor factory is running. So I have the command here, and I'm gonna just hit enter, and you don't see any error messages. That means the command was run successfully. Now I'm gonna run a metasploit in order to listen. So I'm gonna type in MSF console in order to listen on the port for Windows machines. Now again, if you're not recording videos and there isn't much pressure on your laptop or on your device, then you can run it using this command. But for me, I'm going to just do it manually and only listen for Windows machines. If you use this command, you're going to be listening to all different types of machines that you can target using backdoor factory. The method that I'm explaining right now, you can run it from Kali Linux, and you can run it from any computer, given that you install the programs. Now, Kali Linux comes in with backdoor factory installed. So if you learn this on your Android, you can actually perform it using another Linux machine. You can do the exact same attack. Okay, now Metasploit is working. And we're going to do the exact same commands that we did when we were trying to use multi-handler on Kali Linux in the previous videos, except we're just typing them here in Android. So I'm already in multi-handler, but I typed the commands for you so you know what to do. So it's use exploit multi-handler. Then you set your payload to Windows interpreter reverse TCP. Now make sure you have the same payload in the configuration file that we saw before. Now I'm just gonna do show options because I have all the options right, I think. Now if you want to change any option, you just do it the same way that we did it before. So you just do set, you put the option name and the value. So if you want to, for example, change the L host, you just do set L host and then you put the IP. Now everything is right for me right here. So it's the exact same way we explained it before. So I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna do exploit, and this is listening on the port, so everything's perfect right now. And I have my backdoor factory running here. So, and I've already redirected any request to from port 80 to 8080 where backdoor factory is running. So everything is perfect. We only need to do one step, which is becoming the man in the middle. So you have the free of choice to choose how you want to be the man in the middle. You can do it by making a fake access point using mana. You can do IRP poisoning. You can do a HID bad USB attack. For me, I'm going to do IRP poisoning using Zanti because it's the easiest way. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to search for laptops. And I can see my device here, the Windows, it's called Zeus. So I'm gonna tap on it. I'm gonna go to man in the middle like we did before. And as you can see, all the options are off. I just want to IRP poison and redirect the flow of packets through my device. So now everything's perfect, and I'm just gonna go again through a quick review of what we are doing. ARP poisoning our target. So we're pulling the target machine to send any packet to our device instead of the router. Once the packets come to our device, we're redirecting them from port 80 to 8080 using IP tables. On 8080, we have backdoor factory working. So it's going to detect if there is any executables. If there is, it's going to ask us if we want to backdoor it. If we say yes, the executable is going to be backdoored, and then the person can download it. When they download it, the executable is going to work exactly like expected, but at the same time, it's going to run our backdoor, which will try to connect back to us on Metasploit using the reverse handler. So I'm here on my target machine, and I'm going to go to 7zipwebsite.com, and I'm going to go to the download page, and I'm going to try to download 7zip for my computer. And when I do that, I'm going to go back to my Kali machine, and I'm here at the window where you can download, where Backdoor Factory is working. And as you can see, it's detecting that the person is trying to download an executable, and it usually shows you caves. Caves are gaps in the executable that we can inject our backdoor in. Now, in this particular exe, we don't have a free cave that is enough for our exe, for our backdoor or for our payload. So we have two options. We can use jumping, so it's going to use smaller gaps and divide the payload into small parts, or you can just append it or add it to the end of the file. So I'm going to choose A to append, and it's going to inject the backdoor. As you can see, it's patching the backdoor with the executable, and it's offering it to the person now. And as you can see, the person is being offered to download 7zip. So I'm going to click on save, and that has downloaded it for me. So I'm just going to show it in folder before I run it. And as you can see, before 7zip did not have the icon of 7zip when we replaced it with a backdoor. And now when I run it, it's going to run the backdoor and 7zip, so the person will be actually able to install 7zip on their device. And I'm going to say run. So as you can see, it's actually trying to run 7zip. I'm going to say yeah, trust it, and this will install 7zip for me. Now if I go back here, and I'm going to go to my Metasploit where I'm listening for connections, and as you can see that I got a interpreter session opened to 192.168.117, which is me, and it's coming from 94. So I can do a quick system info to confirm. And as you can see, it's the device that we're targeting. It's Zeus Windows 8 x64. So this was just another scenario that show you how we can combine the things that we learned so far in order to run very powerful attacks.